Welcome to the Oaks Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Hall, alongside my wife and co-host, Ingrid.
On this podcast, we talk about all things real estate, entrepreneurship, business, faith, family, you name it, we talk about it, and how we do it all as an equally yoked husband and wife team.
We are glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Enjoy this week's episode. What's up, and welcome to the Oak Podcast.
Welcome.
Book club episode. And this book club was so fun. It was such a good book. Yeah, I'm excited to deep dive into it and just we've had many conversations about the book.
And there are chapters I've earmarked that I'm going to go back and listen to.
I should have done that because I flew through it like a solid month ago.
In typical Travis
I was
fashion, 0.5.
I should have re-listened to it again like this week, but it's all good. It really was a good book. But anyway, before we dive in, how are things?
We're great. We just had the grandparent circuit end. And so...
Which was amazing. The kids loved it.
Yes, revolving door of grandparents, which we're very lucky for. Mm-hmm. And kids are on spring break next week.
We wrapped up ski team.
Yes, we did.
Officially over, unlike a lot of places that didn't receive any snow this year. Yeah. We received a little bit.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, overall, we had a great time. We made the most of it. We made it on the hill like 20-something days, which was amazing for us.
Yes.
And the kids had a blast. It was like one of those total winning moments as a parent where...
Because they were so sad and cried.
So sad. They were so sad that it was over because early on they were like, we don't want to do ski team.
I know. It was hard to wake up.
Yeah, it was. But they thoroughly enjoyed it and had a great time. So, yeah, I think business is good. We're starting lots of things.
Spoon never fails.
His slobber went everywhere just now.
Yeah, I mean, we're still riding high from getting back from Squad Up and just really like making plans. I mean, I think we're coming back this time with the most intentionality and action than we ever have.
Right. I mean, we've spent hours like really being intentional, going through our calendar. We're really honing in our calendar right now, which is
my love language.
Your love language, so. And I am feeding it to you as well because I'm doing it myself. So it's good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the book because it really was fun.
Yes. And so his first book, which is
Psychology of Money.
The Psychology of Money. This is kind of a sequel to it, I would call it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and just a refresher, this is The Art of Spending Money by Morgan Housel. Yeah. Psychology of Money was the first book. It was a game changer for us.
Game changer.
Such an interesting perspective.
For sure.
And so I was very excited when this book came out. I was excited to listen to it and even more like do it here with Yoked.
Yeah. And I definitely, I mean, I had some big ahas and I had some real like internal, like had to resonate with some things and get real about what we're doing and what we're not doing. And we've already changed some things since reading this book. So it was for sure incredible. Like if you have time, you have to read this book. Like I know not every listener is reading these books, but don't just take our download. Like go and read it yourself.
I mean, and it's not a business book. It is a life book.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, his premise is a lot of people know how to make money, but few people know how to spend it. And the whole idea of wealth is keeping the money that you make and then compounding it.
Right. Well, and his idea of like, there's no right or wrong way.
Oh, that was good.
But it's just about you as a person and kind of doing some reflection on what's important to you.
Yeah. I mean, and he does talk a lot about that. He talks about the idea that money shapes all areas of your life. It's not just like financial. It shapes your marriage and your family, your peace. I mean, there's different types of spenders within a partnership. And so it stretches far beyond just like a financial idea.
Right. And so we'll walk through like, again, we're not going to do like chapter by chapter by any means, but just some high level, takeaway. I will say like his first book, it really challenged me in a way of thinking of like why we as a culture and a people currently, why we believe what we believe or why we do what we do, right? The psychology of money. And this one, it was much more practical and like hands-on talking about spending money and like it did tie back into why people do that, but it was like a good like practical standpoint from knowing all about psychology of money. So let's dive in.
Yeah. Before we do our first takeaway, I will say at the very beginning, because this didn't show up anywhere else in kind of our notes, he talks about kind of like, who are you to judge how somebody else spends money?
Yes, it's so good.
Oh, I mean, it really hit. And I mean, if we're being honest, like there's people that we've judged on how they spend money. And I mean, I know mine internally, and it was a great reminder and truly like hit me over the head of you can't expect somebody else with a different past and a different value system now and a different life to spend money the same way you do and value the same things you do.
Well, and like real life examples of that, like it's easy to see, like, oh, well, why would you buy that car? Like, oh, it's such
Mhm.
a waste of money. Like big, that makes sense. But everybody does it on like the small scale too. Why do you spend $7 on a latte at Starbucks when you could just make it yourself? Like little things like that, where it's like, it's so, you don't know their perspective. And it's so practical and so like, well, obviously,
Well,
but
he
it was
really
such a
he's
good
like
reminder of
it's
like,
ignorant. It's literally ignorant to think that somebody else would spend money the same way you do and to expect them to.
mhm.
Like, who are you? I mean, it hit. It
Well, and
was
it was in
good.
alignment with what we were talking about, like recently about prescription glasses and like vision.
Mhm.
And it goes perfectly with spending as well. It's
Yeah.
like because something's important to someone, like it doesn't necessarily mean it's important to you.
Yeah.
And you can't like forecast and say like, no, you need the
Mhm.
same importance as I do. Like and like thinking less of someone because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He talks a lot about that. And it was were both like, wow, that hit hard. And you don't think you're like a judgy person, but in some of his examples, you're like, yeah, like I feel that,
Yeah.
you know?
So, our first takeaway was that spending is psychological, and most spending decisions are not emotional, not logical.
People think they're logical.
Yeah.
And he relates it to buying a house,
Yep.
which is so real of like, people are like, "Oh, I'm not going to get emotional. I'm just going to go buy it. It's an investment, like
Mhm.
a primary house. And there is emotion in it. We know that from being realtors for years.
For sure, and he talks about his experience, like,
Right.
buying his first house with his spouse and,
Right.
like, going to her and saying, "Would you be bummed if we didn't get this house?" And she's like, "Oh, I'd be absolutely crushed." And it's because you're already married to the idea
Right.
of this house, and fear, insecurity, envy, like, identity all shape the majority of what we spend money on.
Absolutely. And like he doesn't say emotional is bad.
No,
He's just
no.
saying like recognize it. You can't like just being real. Like you can't go into this history of a house purchase. Like going in, we're just gonna look. And it's logical.
It's like going to shop for a puppy and saying
Exactly.
you're
It's
just
like
gonna look.
Ingrid telling me we're gonna go look for a puppy. Just not look for it. Just gonna go like look. I'm on board. I'm down. I know we're getting a puppy, but we drive 5 hours to go look at a puppy.
And fell in love.
And Booney just walked in front of the screen several years ago. So, but it is the same. It's like it's not logic. It's emotion. It's like just weighing that, right? Dude, I think about whenever we came home, we went up to go get him and it was a blizzard.
That was when we actually went to pick him up.
I know. We went and saw him, fell in love with him. The kids pet him. We let the
Oh
kids
my
come
god,
and
that
like,
was the
and it
cutest.
was very obvious.
It's
We
like a
get
little
made a
roly
deposit
poly.
on the dog and then we come back and then we can't get him for what, 4 weeks?
Yeah.
The day has come. The kids are so pumped. We leave while they're at, daycare and we can't make it
It's a blizzard.
because it's a blizzard. So we have to come back the next day.
Not even the next day. The next day was like Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
We had to wait like 3 days. The kids were crushed. And I think Ingrid was the most crushed of all.
Okay, let's talk about this because this is a good example. How much did Boone cost when
I
we
think
bought him?
Boone, I'll whisper, I think Boone was $800.
I know he's like a purebred hunting dog that's never seen a hunting field in his life. Um, the joy and love and life that he gives our family, I would spend that 20 times over.
Yeah.
And I have judged people for the amount of money they've spent on a dog.
That's
They buy
so real.
$4,000 or $5,000 dogs, and I'm like, "Are you insane?" But it's like to them, he's like, it's all psychological. He's going to bring me so much joy.
Like in thinking about it now, like would Boone be worth $5,000?
For sure.
For sure. Right?
Good boy.
But you're worth more than that. I mean,
All
even
right.
going to the puppy store. Like we've gone to the puppy
Yes.
store here in Coeur d'Alene
And
just for fun,
just to pet.
just
Yeah.
to pet the puppies. And I mean, we had those conversations like, man, those
Those
dogs are like
dogs,
$5,000.
they're so expensive.
Who would buy that?
And I'm like, Ingrid would to buy Boone.
Right. That's funny.
All right. Takeaway 2, happiness versus contentment. We've talked about contentment a lot, and it certainly is something I think that like you go through seasons of contentment, right? And every time you kind of level up, or you get a raise, a promotion, anything like that. Like contentment fluctuates again.
Yeah, they do.
But he talked a lot about like the feeling you're chasing and the idea of like excitement surrounding something. And I think there's some kind of study on this as well about like a vacation and how much time people spend planning the vacation and that it brings them so much joy, so much more joy than the actual vacation itself. But that contentment is different than excitement. And what are you actually chasing? Are you chasing happiness or contentment? And what's actually going to bring you that?
Right. And they're different. I mean, a new toy, a new thing, a new car, a new house, like that can bring you happiness immediately, right? Right away. But happiness, like you said, isn't the same thing as being content. And so he talked a lot about like the billionaire who doesn't have contentment, can
Yeah.
have anything they want in the world, but you can't buy contentment. It's a mindset. And it is like a mindset on how you spend your time, how you spend your money, and like what is your money affording you to do. And I think about us in our life right now and like moving here and coming here. We had a happy life. We did. And
Sure.
we were pretty content. We were just not as content as we knew we could be.
Our schedule wasn't content.
Yeah, it was just difficult. And being here, fast forward, like we've talked about this a lot, but like we are more content and happy. Like we are both right now than we've ever been. And a lot of it is just the intentionality of it, like knowing like why we're here, why what we're doing. And some might look at it and be like, wow, I figured you'd be a little fearful because, like we took
Yeah.
our job away, and like we switched up a lot of things and so much new and we're both like, no, we're on like the cultivating stage of
Yeah.
like planting and growing. And obviously we set ourselves up to do this.
Well, and he does talk too about like the best spending supports daily life, not just like momentary happiness. He does relate it to like Christmas and getting a gift versus getting an experience, but that like over time, people don't necessarily remember the moments of spending. They remember like the life that was created because of responsible, but spending over time to support the life you want, not just like cash infusions for dopamine hits.
Right. Which is very real. And Amazon makes it very easy.
Yeah. Or Instagram, social media, they just like feed you like exactly what you've been looking at.
Right. It's so
Yeah.
true. They're like, shop now.
And then they're like, you didn't buy this. And so here are those reef sandals again. And I'm like,
What's funny is I've probably clicked on, I don't know, hundreds of those, like the algorithms feeding me something like, oh, that's pretty cool. Click on the shop button. Never bought anything off of Instagram.
You're a better human than me.
I mean, like directly off Instagram. I bet I probably just bought it off Amazon at some point later in the future.
Right.
But it's just funny. Like I have this like
Travis can't be
aversion
caught.
because it's like autofill. I mean,
Well, Travis is like, you want me to buy this? I'm not going to.
totally.
Whereas I'm like, you fed me something exactly that I was looking for, and I shall
Thank
buy
you.
it now. Thank you for doing the work for me.
So true.
All right.
That's funny.
Next takeaway was borrowed desires. This is a lot of like the idea of keeping up with the Joneses.
And Instagram, social media. Like it's very.
Yeah, we're chasing like a feeling that we think that thing or that vacation represents. Like we don't actually want it. Right?
Right.
Like when you sit down and you think about all the places you want to go on vacation with your family and you think about like going on a cruise, going to the beach, stuff like that. It could just be because you're chasing the idea of that it represents because of like the people around you. Maybe a friend just got back or something like that. You actually hate boats and you don't really love the sand and you fry in the sun. So like why would you want to do that?
Right. And like bigger houses, like that you see them all the time of like a cool walkthrough videos of this or that. And they're like, man, maybe it's obviously me because I like
You're in
houses.
this sphere.
I like, but it is interesting. Like it's painting a picture of like, oh, I can have that. But it's like, they never talk about like, do you want to have the utility bill for a 7,000 square foot house?
Or like I recently saw
Or
one
cleaning?
that has like a two-story master closet. It's like there's stairs inside the closet. And I love me a staged
That's
closet,
insane.
but I'm also like the idea that you would have to fill that closet for
Right.
me. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like it's super cool. And again, like you can't judge somebody
Yep.
for having that because they want it. And maybe they they collect clothes and that's their thing. I don't
Sure.
know. But it is interesting. Like the borrowed desires is coming from something you watch, hear, see, neighbors, culture, wherever.
Yeah.
But it's you want it because you think you want it, but do you actually
Do
want
you
it?
actually want it? And that's where I would say, like, especially with big purchases, which we've gotten much better at this, we pause for a long
Mm,
time. And we used to buy larger purchases quickly. And now,
yeah,
like, we're definitely delayed with, like, do we actually want this? And how bad do we want this? And we might sit and think on it for months before actually taking action on like the really big ones.
right. It's so true. And we've practiced that. And it's
Yes.
still hard at times. All right, takeaway number 4. The best spending buys freedom.
This
This
was
one's
my
so
favorite.
good. I agree. This one. So elaborate on this, like the freedom idea.
Yeah, and I would say, like, moment of honesty, this is the one that we chased the
Yeah.
most in the last few years, and the one that we like, when he talks about, like, the different levels of wealth, like, level 1 is, "I can't pay my bills." Level 2 is, "Okay, now I can just pay my essential bills." Level 3, 4, and that some of that goal is, like, level 10 or whatever, is to be able to spend your time how you want. And that's the true spending that we're all seeking, is that the best use of money buys back your time and your peace and your energy and your margins. I think, like, unapologetically, that's what we've chased in the last few years, and that's why we moved here. And it has been incredible and delivered on every single thing we thought it would. And we've given up some luxuries we had in Denver, like we had a house cleaner. We used Instacart. At one time, had a laundry service provider because we were so stinking busy. Kids didn't have clean underwear. And we got rid of a lot of that so that we can move here and live more simply and honestly have time to do our own laundry.
Right. And I mean, the long-term goal is to get back to some of those things
Sure.
because we're keeping our time, we're buying back our time. But we're in a season where that isn't the important, like it's more important that we're here
Mm-hmm.
than just staying and having all those luxuries.
Yeah. And so those, I mean, come down to the smallest daily decisions as well of, okay, do I want this latte, the $4 latte, more than I want financial freedom in 3 years? Like, it's hard to compare it to that, but he does talk a lot about the idea of a ton of little purchases. Like, people think they save money by not buying, a $30,000 car, but it's really those little ones that add up, add up, add up, and it's mini lattes over 5 years that actually didn't get you to the freedom of time
Right.
and peace and energy and margin.
Well, he tells this funny story about the lattes of like someone that has a latte every single day,
Mhm.
and a buddy or coworker or something is
Yeah,
like,
that was good.
oh, if you didn't drink that latte every day, like in 30 years, you could buy a Ferrari or something like that. And they're like, well, do you drink lattes? And you're like, no. And like, well, where's your Ferrari?
Yeah.
It's like,
It got swallowed up with other
yeah,
things.
exactly. It's like, it's real, but it's the same thing. It's like, is the latte the best thing in your day?
Mm,
Is that like, you're like, that makes you so happy and content. And you're like, this is my single greatest joy. Like,
mhm.
then you should absolutely have the latte,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and one other big shift we made was back, before we moved, we had the kids in after school care. And I mean, it's not cheap. It's cheaper than daycare, but it's not cheap to
Right.
have the kids in after school care every day. And when we moved, we said, we're not doing that. We're trying at least a year. I'm not doing that, which means we work less and we spend more time with them and sacrifice. And it has created such margin and enjoyment and spur of the moment things and the ability to say yes to enrichment classes. And we don't have to be online stalking, like signing them up. And I mean, the
Right.
mental load of just that, it's been super special. They've gotten really creative
Hmm.
with their playtime after school. Like the results of that have compounded, but it was a very, very intentional choice.
And I will say, like, it wasn't just easy.
Oh, no.
It was intentional,
It
but
also
both of
means that
us
most mornings, one of us is up here working at
6. Yeah,
5:36.
for sure. Yeah, because you have to make up somewhere, and that's the part that's been interesting. Is like it's been super intentional and amazing, but it took a lot of effort
And
and like
planning. Mhm.
planning and like breaking old mental routines and habits
Mhm.
of like,
Yeah.
if only they were in after school care for twice a week, that kind of
Right.
idea of like, no, like we committed and this is
Mhm.
what we're doing for a year
Yeah.
and see what we think. I think the biggest thing with spending buys freedom is just the overall idea of like, if you're going to buy something, maybe it's something that's relatively expensive, a couple $100. Like, does it improve your life? Does it improve your life? Not just like, fun or look good, but like, does it
Mhm.
actually like buy back your time with something? Not everything is going to do that. Like a new sweatshirt, it doesn't
Sure.
do that. But like, we've talked about this, like our vacuum that we bought,
Yeah.
a little robot vacuum. And we went back to it and got a new one. It mops, it vacuums, and like that little thing we call Buddy,
But
it
I know, we named it.
it straight up does save time and it
Yeah.
makes our life easier. It does.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I think about this with AI. Like we've talked about AI, and that is AI. It can make your life easier.
Yeah. And like investments in yourself, right?
Hmm.
Professional development. I mean, those are time
Hmm.
sacrifices and everything.
Yeah, a gym membership.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Next one was frugality can become fear. We don't necessarily have a problem with this one. I don't as
Yeah, I
much
have more
as
of a
you
problem than
do,
you do. Yeah.
but not all restraint is wisdom. And sometimes saving is healthy, but then sometimes it's like fear dressed up as like, oh, I'm being disciplined.
Right. It's like saving because I'm scared I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, it is both. It's like spending for today versus saving for the future and not
Hmm.
enjoying anything right now.
Yeah.
And that's the personal, mental rub. Like I definitely am a more frugal by nature person
Mm.
from my upbringing that I've had to work on. And that doesn't working on it doesn't mean I'm just going to go spend lavishly because
No.
I struggle with that. And like I could work on that. Like honest to God, like I just could.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, sometimes there's different ways you like celebrate something, right? And like sometimes it's okay to like go buy that. Like we do it with the kids. Like, what are you working for? What are you saving for?
mhm,
Like toys mean more to them than they do us.
for sure.
But getting them to work towards something big by saving, then Travis just like does that and then he never spends the money.
Well, and like it kind of it happens in with like birthdays for me too. People are like, "What do
Mm-hmm.
you want?" I'm like, "I have no idea." And like a lot of it is like I think that it comes down to this. Like I just don't know. I don't know. Like if I had $100 right now, like I don't know what I would go spend it on. And like
Oh my God, I could think
I've
about
done these
that.
exercises and a lot of these entrepreneur like things where it's like, all right, you got to spend this. Now you got to spend this.
And
You
you
have to
have
write
to
it
spend it
down
on yourself.
and you have to spend all of it. And oh my gosh, like the initial like less than 1,000 is so hard for me when I
Hmm.
get like in the big numbers, maybe because they're just so far away and like I can go buy a brand new truck or I'll just like invest on, like I'm going to go buy a new house. But it is interesting. Like I read the right side of the menu first. And like I've gotten better at that. Like,
Hmm.
on the restaurant, meaning like, what is the price? I don't want to spend that on that. Like I want the better deal. I want this one.
Yeah.
And it's some of those things that I don't want to live in fear while also being smart.
Yeah, you don't have a scarcity mindset.
Right.
Also goes back just to like, stewardship of our gifts and our income and that it's for the greater good, not just for us to like hold on tightly to so we can keep it. Can't
Right.
take it with you when you die, you know?
Right. I mean, like
Mhm.
having an emergency fund, that's a great thing.
Yeah,
But do you need a 2-year emergency fund?
probably not.
So I've got a year's emergency fund, but I don't have enough to go on this fun little vacation with my family.
Right.
Like, or fill in the blank.
Sure.
Like a great opportunity to go spend time with my best friend. And it's like,
And I say no.
can't because I need to save a little more. And you're like, are you robbing yourself?
Yeah.
It makes you think. Again, there's no right or wrong. It just makes you think.
So the last one is that spending reveals values. And I think people have heard it before with like your calendar, right? Show me your
Mhm.
calendar and I'll show you what's important to you. Show me your bank account
Yeah,
and I'll show you what's important to do, what's important to you. Like your spending does reflect what matters to you, whether you like it or not.
it does.
It does show up. And so having some kind of budget system or whatever you need to say, like, I spend this much on entertainment, I spend this much on food, I spend, like eating out, like that's a great way to find out what's important to you.
Yep.
And if you don't like what it says, then that's your wake up call to go change it.
Yeah, I mean, if your spending doesn't reflect what you think your values are, like,
Yeah. If you say health is one of the most important things to you, and you look at your bank account and you spend no money on healthy food, no money on a gym membership, no money on counseling for mental health. Is health important to you?
Yeah, right. Is it just a pipe dream or is it
Right?
real?
And same thing with like faith and family. Like these things are important to me. Well, how often do you visit your family? And do you give over and above? Like, don't say they're important and then look at your bank account and see that it actually shows it's not important.
Yeah, your bank account is like your actual litmus test. Is
Yeah.
it real?
Yeah. And face it.
And face it. And like in a good way of like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
That's more than I thought.
yeah, like teaser for our next episode. Like we're going to talk about that, like kind
Yeah,
of
we are.
auditing your life.
Spring cleaning.
Yeah, spring cleaning, but doing a full blown like kind of reflection of where you're, what
Mhm.
you're doing.
And so we're going to save some of like our practical questions about like money spending for that episode. We did write down some personal reflections, kind of questions to end this episode. And I'm wondering if I could ask you first or
Go
if you
ahead.
want to ask me. Okay. What is one thing we spend on with zero regret personally?
One thing we spend with zero regret.
Zero regret.
I think, well, for one, we're coming right off of it. I think skiing and
Yeah.
recreating.
Yep. Skiing and recreating for
Skiing is
sure.
expensive, and we
Yeah.
spent more this year on skiing than we ever have.
Right.
And thank goodness we did it.
Yeah. I have zero regret
It
on
was a
that. I
pause.
like
We
that.
paused initially with this kids joining ski team of like, man, this is a big commitment. This is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to, then it's plus, 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 just like everything. You gotta, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta sign up and you gotta pay this
Yep.
and you gotta pay that. And I'm so glad.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing, but like recreating in general,
Yeah.
even the boat club, like there are
Boat
times
club, boat season is
there
coming.
are times when I'm like, oh my gosh, this expense in February and I can't even use it. And then in the summer, of course, when you're using it, you're like, thank the Lord I spent the money on this. Like it creates the memories and
So
all of
much.
that. And it's not a low expense. I mean, we're talking about things that we spend a fair amount on, but they do relate back to like our family's highest priorities, which is recreating together. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go ski by myself.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to go boat by myself. You might.
I might a little.
It lends itself to that. So
It does.
that was mine too.
I
What
love
about
that.
one thing that feels wasteful in hindsight?
Wasteful in hindsight.
I have mine, but I
Okay,
can
you
give more
go.
time to think. Okay. We are coming off of like this 60-day health program now. I think we're like day 61. Eating out.
Yeah.
Eating out. Like, because you're really not getting very good quality food. Does it actually save you time? Not really. And it's expensive.
It is expensive.
And it's not actually like any yummier.
I would. That's a great one.
Because we spent a ton of money on eating out prior to this program.
Oh yeah, we ate our budget.
Yeah.
I think the caveat to that is like reactive eating out,
Yeah.
where it's like, "Okay, let's just go somewhere.
Because you think it's more convenient.
It's more convenient. It's easier.
Mhm.
It's easier on us, But I think intentional, like we're going out as a family this night.
Sure. A
Together.
planned new restaurant
Yeah.
or, yeah, I agree.
I think another one is that's like wasteful in hindsight for us is like TV subscriptions. There's so many. Like it's so stupid how like we went through this this phase as a culture of like cut the cord, cut the cable. Well, now you're probably spending more with
Yeah,
all
you
these
are.
stupid subscriptions to everything.
Right.
And so like I think just in general blanket having multiple subscriptions to all these streaming services, like it's just wasteful.
Like if you cut Disney Plus, your kids would find something to still watch on a different platform.
Mhm.
You'd be all right.
But it's like, but I want to watch this one on this platform and this
Right.
one. And like we try to be intentional with not watching screens that much. And so it just is it can be one of those wasteful things.
What about one area where we want to spend more intentionally?
I mean, for us in this year, one area that we want to spend more intentionally in is investing.
Yep, I think we're definitely on a path of less spending for active immediate income and more spending for wealth building that's, 20, 30 years from now.
Yep. And more intentional, investing in bigger things.
Yep. Yeah.
So I mean, for sure, that's an easy one for me.
Okay.
What about you?
I was going to say mine's actually like saving more intentionally.
Yeah.
We don't have as much like compounding investments as we could. Like we love real estate and we know it. So a lot of our investments are in real estate, but we could diversify a little bit more. Like we've got some, IRAs and 401ks.
No, I agree. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Like taking more advantage of the compound effect. This book definitely opened my eyes to that.
Yeah. I want to do the infinite banking.
Oh, yeah.
as part of that.
You got to set that appointment with
I
them.
know.
Okay, last one. What money belief are we trying to unlearn?
What money belief are we trying to unlearn? You have one?
No, not off the top of my head. I did become more convicted in something that I do spend money on, which is the house, and like even things as little as like the reading nook or, finishing the outside, finishing the kids' den. For me, like it's not, I can say with like a truthful heart, none of those things are about status and image. They're all about how we spend our time together as a family and what is going to lend itself to us building community better. And so I was very like convicted in that. And I thought that might be when I had to unlearn, like stop spending money on the house. But for me, it was actually the opposite.
I think that's good. I mean, and you have had that takeaway multiple times. We've talked about it. I think for me, the unlearning is the fear and frugality side.
Okay.
It's just like little things, like thinking about it is like even like me getting a haircut.
Yes.
I'm like,
you let it go like 2 weeks too long just because you're
I'm just
frugal.
freaking cheap, and like that's not. I don't think that's a bad thing, but
No, but you
it's
feel good when you get a haircut.
right, and it's like
That's good.
it's just funny.
Even our son this morning, Anders, I looked at him like, you need a haircut.
I know.
Daddy's in charge of your haircuts. So
But yeah, I need to unlearn some of that.
I like that.
Like, I don't have this super negative image on money or thought, but it definitely wasn't a positive image growing up.
Yeah.
And so it is unlearning.
Taking some unlearning.
I mean, I've been doing this long enough that I know that it's there, and like I intentionally work on it.
Yeah.
So
I like that. Well, awesome. Do you want to announce our next book?
yes, I am so excited for this one.
I'm less excited, but you get 5 weeks to read it, people. So we're not doing book club until April 30th, the last week in April. So 5 weeks.
I'm excited because you and I have never read this book together.
And I've read some of his other books.
Correct.
I'm not sure I read this.
I don't think you've read this one.
Okay.
I think you always kind of like scoffed at it because it's not like this fictional book. This Yoked Book Club has really been great for our marriage because it's gotten Ingrid involved in books that I like to read, and I need to give you back. I need to like
I'm going to pick the next one.
in a fictional book.
I'm going to pick the next one.
Well, our next book is a classic. It is Think and Grow Rich.
By Napoleon Hill.
And this version is the newer, revised, and updated version.
Which is nice.
I've listened to the old one, and it's great as well. It's written like 80 years ago. It is such a good book. It is a pivotal book for so many people. They don't even know it. It's impacted so many authors in this space.
Entrepreneurial space, wealth space.
It's mindset, and it is...
Yeah, it's a lot of mindset.
But it's the standard.
Yeah, it's great.
So good, and I'm so excited to read it again. Honestly, we were looking at our bookshelf that you can't see in the video, but above our picture right here is a bookshelf. And we're like, let's do a book that we've read or one of us has read, and this is it. So Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. It is a good one. And yeah, I'm excited for that. So next episode is going to be awesome. We're going to talk about auditing your life.
Yeah, a little spring cleaning. Time to chuck.
And yeah.
So as always, you can find me on Instagram at the Ingrid Hall. Travis is at the Travis Hall on all the socials. Please always like, subscribe, and follow along as we drop a new episode each week.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of the Yoke Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along as we drop a new episode each week.